Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another live stream. Hope you guys are ready to have some fun today and talk about, well, money. One of our, I think most people's favorite subject these days, in a sense, just simply because, for many reasons, right? Who doesn't want to have a few extra dollars, pesos, whatever in their pocket? So, that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today because, well, in the last year, we've seen a lot of changes within the exchange rate between the dollar and the peso. And so a lot of people out there are obviously wondering, how long will this last? Will this last, for a long time? Well, will you be able to get more value out of those dollars in the future? Or will this eventually reverse? And so we're going to be talking about that today. And at the end of the day, guys, before I even get started today, I kind of have to do this, even though I don't have to do this. This is not financial advice, all right? I got to say this, all right? Because I know a lot of people always, out there, sometimes they can misconstrue things. Again, this is just my opinion of a guy living out here with my own knowledge on the subject. But please do your own homework. Please plan accordingly, and so on and so forth. Again, this is just me and my financial advisor, Lambo, my horse, okay? So, that's right. So, this is my financial advisor, my horse, Lambo, and, he doesn't always get it right. And at the end of the day, it's not even about that. It's, advice per se. It's more about knowledge. The more you know, the better equipped you will be for whatever comes our way into the future. And so again, these are the things that we're going to be talking about today, among other things. All right. Now, again, before we get started, I always like to get off. I like to get off to a slow start during these live streams because it takes a while. First of all, sometimes for me to get going live, some of these days, and then at the same time, sometimes it takes a while for you guys to get the notification or even figure out I am live. By the way, please let me know if the music or what have you is too loud in the background. I'm going to turn that off for a second. Seems like we're rolling over here. So, I'm asking you guys a question here, okay? As sometimes during these live streams, depending on the subject, obviously I like to ask you guys a question, pertaining to the subject. And so in today's, question, for today's subject is, do you guys think the exchange rate will stay above 20-1 or go below 20-1 by the end of 2025? So basically 1 year from today. Now, as you guys can see, look at where we're at now. You know what I mean? Look at the price, here. There you go. Yeah, I'm pointing at the right thing there. Look at that. Look at that. Here, hold on. I only got a few hands here. Okay, there you go. All right. It is, $1 gets you 20 pesos and 46 centavos. All right. And listen, I'm not going to lie to you. All right. Honest to God truth. Again, you guys can look back at my older videos or live streams, this year, talking about this subject because, again, a lot of us were worried, but about the complete opposite of what's going on right now. And, the super peso was becoming stronger and superer and stronger as the year was going on. But for whatever reason, as soon as the elections were over here in Mexico, all right, because the elections were in June. See right here, I think you guys can see it. You see on the screen there. You see towards the end of May, and then we get to June 1st. Remember, the elections were at the beginning of June. I think like June 4th, 6th, something like that. But as soon as the elections were over, look at that, boof! It just ballooned. It just exploded. All right. And, again, this is in the last year. Okay. So let's just go, I only have so much, I can do with this particular chart here. But again, if we just go back to, 2 years ago, okay, at the end of 2 years ago, December of 2022, we were just a little bit under 20. So we were hovering around the same kind of thing here, okay? As you guys can see. So Oh, sorry. Okay, so again, 2 years ago. Okay, here, in fact, let's just go back to what is it, November, right? We're in November, so yeah, November. Look at that. Okay, so and in the last 2 years, okay, in the last 2 years, or whoa, year and a half, anyways, ever since that date, it started to drop, okay, and drop, and it kept dropping, and basically for each dollar, we were getting like 16 pesos. And this is 16 pesos, this is according to this exchange rate, for a lot of you guys that exchange your dollars, maybe at an exchange house, or you have other, means in which you exchange your money and you don't get the full value because the exchange rate or the bank or whatever has to get theirs. Again, you were getting even less. You were getting 1 to 15. So it was like one, and a lot of people were panicking because, well, the trajectory was to keep going lower. But now all of a sudden, again, the elections were in early June, and from early June till now, it's been 5 months, literally 5 months. Okay, we haven't even hit the 6-month mark yet, and look at that, we're already above 20 pesos, which again, the last time we were above. In fact, the last time we were at 20 pesos and 41, man, I can't even remember. It was a long time ago. Look at that, right? Look at that. Over 2 years ago, okay? So what's going on? What's making all this happen? Is this going to continue? And so on and so forth. That's what we're going to be talking about. And look, I'm not going to lie. From looking at this chart, and remember, there's so many variables in play here. That basically have changed my tone on things as to where we're going with this. Now, again, we could easily reverse and go back the other direction, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. And again, I am not a stonk trader. I don't trade forex. I am not a financial advisor. I don't know anything. All I know is basically more about the geopolitical relationship between both countries, kind of what's going on culturally between in both countries, also some of the monetary policies and situations in both countries. So that's my take on these things, and that's how I can provide knowledge and information going forward. If you want to know how to trade, the peso or the dollar, whatever, again, go to other channels or check some other people out. People that chart, they do the charting, the trade, stonks trade, forex. Forex is foreign exchange, whatever. So, there's, you can trade Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. You can trade stocks. I like to call them stonks, but whatever, stocks, traditional stocks. You can trade forex, which is currencies. Okay, so there's many things you can trade. Okay, you can trade buffaloes and sheep and cows. All right, and whatever. But the point I'm making is that if you look at a lot of people that trade this, the peso, they were basically saying, a long time ago, for a while now, that the trajectory was to go upwards. But I know, and I've been around this world long enough, where again, charts, as I like to call them, they can get shattered like that. But many times, again, as a good friend of mine out there in the YouTube world likes to say, the TA does not lie. Right? What is it? Don't mess with the TA or something like that. I forgot something about but TA is technical analysis, right? And so people that trade this stuff, basically, they saw this coming even before any of us, experience it. Here we go, where we're at now. So the thing is that how long is this going to last? What is causing this? And so what are variables? What are the things in the environment that are going to cause this to either, continue, going up or going down, or, or reverse, go back to where we were. All right. So real quick, I want to check out the Hold on. I want to check out the chat real quick. I see you guys are in the chat, getting busy up in there. Shout out to everyone out there. Love you guys. Much appreciated. Again, you got any questions or anything, please let me know. Henry says, how's the truck doing? It's doing. It works. I can drive it around and, it serves its function. But at the end of the day, I got the truck up for sale. So if anyone's interested, message me and we'll go from there. But yeah, I got the truck for sale. It's already basically earned its keep. I gotta move on from that. It's just it's costing me money that I don't have, and it's a great truck. It's an amazing truck, but unfortunately things change. I gotta move on. All right, so speaking of which, moving on. Shout out to Henry again for the $2 super chat. Shout out to him. Thank you. All Day Vapor says, shout out to you, brother. Always looking forward to the live streams. Thank you very much. Always looking forward to hanging out with you guys here as well. And then, okay, you guys are just sharing some opinion. Okay, opinions. All right, if you got any comments, all right, let me know. All right, so, look, again, this is also sharing my opinion, all right? So this is not, again, no, real technical advice or anything. I don't know what the hell I'm saying or doing. But look, the thing is that this is what I'm looking at, honestly, right now. There's a lot of variables in the environment. Some, predicted or predictable, others not so much. These charts, when people trade, they don't know what's going to happen news-wise in the future. They just follow the technical analysis as to how they're traded, meaning the supply and demand, the buy, the sell, all that stuff, things that, again, too technical for us, all right? But the point I'm making is that there are a lot of times there are, variables in the environment, okay? Again, like, let's say presidential elections, all right? But there are variables in the environment that can either make the chart, okay, the predicting chart, basically make it, how do I say, is valid. Like, hey, yes, this was true. We didn't know why it was going to go up, but boom, now we know because we got the news. Or, the news can be so devastating that it destroys, the prediction. And basically, again, the prediction might have been it's going up, and then something crazy happens like, I don't know, Kamala Harris gets elected, and then all of a sudden, we got a super peso again. Look, I think that one of the major factors, as to, why the peso has continued to get stronger, has been, the election of Trump. Now, again, he wasn't elected in June. Remember that. Who was elected in June? Claudia Sheinbaum. She is, again, the first woman president of Mexico. But beyond being the first woman president of Mexico, there's a lot of things in play here that, well, basically play in her favor and don't play in her favor. So we got to remember whether, it doesn't matter how you think of this, as to, who runs the world, whether it's, regular people, lizard people, banks, whatever. It's banks. Spoiler, it's banks. But, regardless, it can get really, muddled, as you go deeper because, again, corporations, yada, yada, yada. But I digress. The banks, okay, which do a lot of the controlling in the world, okay? A lot of banks, I'm talking about international central banks, the banks, okay? The ones that, the conspiracy stuff, always or what is it revolves around. But anyways, the banks, most of them, okay, do not like Mexico, are not happy with Mexico. Many are even punishing Mexico. Now, remember, there's many ways to punish a country for not following orders, okay? One of the ways is the USA, for example, they'll put sanctions on your country, okay? Or they won't even allow you to use the dollar, which I don't agree with. It's kind of like shooting yourself in the foot, but I digress. But for example, they can't put sanctions on Mexico. They can't go after Mexico in that way because the US relies too much on Mexico, right? So what can it do? And especially as the US relies more and more on Mexico, well, it can definitely, manipulate the currency to the point where we get to where we're at. Because again, look, as the peso, okay, kept dropping, aka becoming stronger, okay? as the peso kept getting stronger, throughout the last years, okay, a lot of people, people coming from, not from Mexico, but some Mexicans, but a lot of outside international investor type people, they were saying, it's like, oh, this is only going to hurt Mexico because, well, this now makes the labor, amongst other things, more expensive in Mexico. So in order for Mexico to be a real mega superpower on the industrial stage, whether it's making computer chips or car parts or cars or computers, okay, or everything in between, again, the manufacturing here is next level. Well, in order for that to really, for the international world, to really be able to take advantage of that, factory that is Mexico, well, the peso needs to keep going higher, okay? Meaning losing value, okay? Because that means that labor and other things are cheaper. Because again, if you are now an international corporation, business, whatever, and you're setting up shop in Mexico, well, obviously the higher, the currency goes here. Okay, again, we go 21, 22, 23, whatever. Well, the cheaper everything's going to be. Just like it is for you. Just like you, the person that's looking into retiring, moving, being a digital nomad, whatever, living in Mexico. Well, corporations, they have a similar interest, right? And other, big bigger interests, they got similar, interests, same exact as you. So, what is this going to make, what's this going to cause? Well, now, your dollar, is, worth more, meaning things are now less expensive. They're more affordable to you. They are cheaper. Okay. Now, what does this mean for Mexico? Well, now for Mexico, what this means, okay, is the opposite. For the typical Mexican living in Mexico, what this is inflation. You follow what I'm saying? Okay, inflation. Now, curious enough, I was at the store the other day and, the grocery store, buying groceries, the same stuff that I buy all the time. Curious enough, many products, not all of products, okay, but many products that I would normally buy all the time, I noticed that there was a reduction in price. I've noticed that there's certain items that all of a sudden they're on special. Things that are never on special, like wine. Wine, I bought like 3 bottles of wine for the price of 1 the other day. Like good wine, the wine that I drink all the time. I bought 3 because I'm like, well, whatever. I got parties, it's Christmas time, that time of the year, might as well have them in stock. But anyways, not just the wine, but certain other little things, where I noticed, it's like, hey, all of a sudden it's like, hey, this is 10% cheaper. So certain things, are, again, regular everyday items are coming down in price. But really what this really means for Mexicans is inflation. Now, you as an American, Canadian, European, whatever the hell you're at, but I'm talking mainly to Americans here, people in the US of A, all right? You're seeing inflation. Just because Trump got elected doesn't mean inflation's going away, all right? In fact, what is actually going to happen now? Well, we're already seeing it. Interest rates, they already dropped. In fact, when was it? I think it was right after the election. The Fed came out, emergency. I'm sorry, I was doing that song. Emergency. Anyways, that stupid TikTok song. Anyways, emergency rate cut. And we've already had a rate cut. So in the last month or something or 2 or whatever, we went to, from, first of all, we normally cut or put, or increase by 0.25, which is, 25%, whatever. But what did we do? Oh no, this time when they cut for the first time, it was 0.5 and now 0.25. So 0.75. That's a lot. That's almost a point. Okay. And I know a lot of people might not understand this whole interest rate thing. Okay. I don't want to bore you guys, with, minutia on the economy and then this stuff. But look, all this means, okay, is that as the interest rates go lower, okay, that means that people that borrow money, okay, not us poor people. I'm talking about people that are, have money and are allowed to, borrow money. You know who they are out there. Anyways, shout out to them. Nothing wrong with that. But all I'm saying is that it's gonna get cheaper to borrow money. And by the way, some of those people are the U.S. government. Okay. Anyways, the point I'm making is that, again, follow me here. All right. As the interest rates go lower, that means that money is cheaper for these people, these entities, these governments, these corporations. To the point where, again, Trump, during his first during his first presidency, he said he wanted, okay, negative interest rates. Again, what does negative interest rates mean? Again, if you borrow $1 million, you only have to pay back less than $1 million, 900,000 or whatever. Okay? Don't get me started. Do your own research. There's already negative interest rates in Europe, okay? There's already countries with negative interest rates. But think about it. How the F does that make sense? You borrow money and you have to pay back less than you borrowed. It doesn't make sense, right? In fact, one can even say, hey, isn't that a loophole for infinite money? It is. It is. Anyways, I digress. The point is that as they drop interest rates, it increases inflation. Okay? So as they drop those interest rates, it increases inflation. Now, guess what? If we get to negative interest rates, well, now it starts to almost reverse, doesn't it? But not really, because the inflation will always keep going up. Okay? And what is inflation? The printing of money. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, because everything on planet Earth, everything, whether you like it or not, is valued in dollars. Everything, including other currencies. Okay? Whether you're talking about a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, shout out to the Bitcoins out there, or you're even talking about, gold and silver, physical money, all right? Real money, but anyways, or, other currencies, like the Mexican peso or whatever it is. So that's all part of it, okay? The fact, okay, that, they can manipulate, okay, in the sense of by printing money, all right? They can manipulate the price of other currencies. Now, the thing is that the Mexican peso, okay, and I'm going to tell you how they manipulate in a second. The Mexican peso has been getting strong, again, we talked about it on the channel multiple times for many reasons. Again, they are paying down their debt. They have not taken on any debt. The programs, many of the social programs that they've done has not increased their debt per se, okay? Because they've been able to, keep that within the country. And I'm talking about international debt, like the U.S. owes 70 gazillion trillions of dollars. Okay, so every country has debt like that. Mexico has one of the least amounts of debt, okay? And all I'm saying is that if you're paying down that debt, if you don't have that much debt, that makes your currency stronger. On top of that, it makes it, against the dollar. That's how everything is valued. Everything is against the dollar. So again, that's why you were seeing, the peso go from, 18, 17, 16, 15, whatever. It did not get to 15, but it got to 16 and 30 cents, whatever. But the reason it was dropping, okay, it was because it was getting stronger, okay? Now, again, in the USA, they're printing to oblivion. In Mexico, they were not printing into oblivion, okay? They had solid monetary policy. Not only do they have solid monetary policy, but, instead of taking on debt from international banks, they keep the debt within, what is it, from their own Mexican banks, okay? The debt stays within the country. On top of that, this country, okay, if you go to Japan, you go to USA, well, not so much USA, but yes, still USA, whatever, any country in the world these days, modern, whatever country, Europe, whatever. I know Europe's not a country, but, all the countries in Europe, lumping them all together. Anyways, everyone's having an age crisis, meaning too many old people, not enough young people. Well, Mexico has many young people, okay? A lot of young people, okay? A lot of young people, they're next to the USA. They're an industrial, monster. Okay, they're a technological monster, whether people know this or not. They're an agricultural monster, yada yada yada. Number one friend is USA and vice versa. Okay, like it or not, even though it's a complicated relationship. And so it's they're friends with the USA. They're tied at the hip. But again, the USA is run by these central banks, and these central banks are trying to run Mexico, but they can't. And so, what are the qualms that Mexico has? Well, Mexico helps Cuba, Venezuela, other communist, leftist countries. They do business, with China when maybe they shouldn't be doing business with China. But it's okay. You do business with whatever you want. It is what it is. All I'm saying is that the international banks that run the world, that run the USA. Again, this is just my dumbass opinion, with my stupid horse. Don't listen to me. You make your, you figure it out. The point is that, they don't like this. So they punish countries, okay, as they can, for not following orders. Whether it was during the pandemic or whether it was, right now, again, helping communist countries, leftist countries, whatever. There's many things, okay, going on. So the banks basically, like very recently, Pemex, the oil company of Mexico, they very recently, they wanted a loan from an international bank in Germany. I don't know. And the bank's like, oh no, we're not going to give you a loan because, you helped Cuba with, I don't know, oil. You gave them humanitarian aid. So we don't want that. So, sorry, no loan for you. Now, again, it's not like they're not going to get the money or a loan from somewhere else, but just FYI, it's just things like that, okay? And so, obviously, if now the loan comes from somewhere else, I don't know, maybe the cartel or somewhere else, or some other entity, private entity out there, now they're the ones that have a little bit more control as opposed to these banks. So, there's a lot of going on, all right? All I'm saying is, okay, that a lot of my opinion, why the currency is, where it's at now, okay, is because it's been heavily manipulated. Now, what do I mean by heavily manipulated? All right, let's just get details. All right, things like gold and silver. All right, things like gold and silver. For anyone that knows anything about anything, gold and silver are heavily manipulated. Now things like cryptocurrency are heavily manipulated. Stocks, everything on the stock exchange, heavily manipulated. Okay, and what do I mean by heavily manipulated? Well, the U.S. government. Okay, by the way, this is, you can look this up. You might even find it on Wikipedia. Anyways, the U.S. government is printing money into oblivion. Okay, and then by them printing that money into oblivion, in order for them to, fight off, hyper inflation, because there's inflation for sure. They put that money into certain things. So think about it, okay? If you know just a little bit about trading stocks, trading anything, you can really manipulate the market, move the market, okay? If you are able to put like $1 billion into the market like that, like $1 billion into Microsoft, $1 billion into gold stocks or silver, or again, the peso, or take money out. So a lot of the reason why the peso was going lower, stronger in recent times, was because for the longest time, and especially in the last 4 years during the pandemic situation, and a lot of instability in the world, especially when it comes to world currencies, the peso has been the strongest currency, okay? Basically in the world, meaning the most stable, not really moving much. Because if you think the peso's moved much, look at other currencies in the last 4 years. But I digress. The point is that because even the dollar has been a little bit too volatile for too many people out there, so they put their money into the peso. But anyways, so imagine as more people, okay, put more money into the peso, more wealth, more value into the peso. Well, guess what? It's going to drop, meaning it's going to get more valuable. Look, remember, the dollar is the most valuable thing. So, okay, if the peso is 1-to-1, meaning $1 gets you 1 peso, bro, gals, whatever, the peso's strong. So as more people have faith in the peso, put money into the peso, put their wealth into the peso, hey, I'm selling a building and I'm putting it in pesos instead of dollars. Well, that makes it stronger and stronger and stronger, right? So if all of a sudden you start getting rid of all those pesos, hey, I don't want these pesos anymore. Again, manipulation, whether intentional or not. People losing faith in Mexico. Hey, I'm losing faith in Mexico because they elected a woman president. I'm taking my money out. Or, I'm the U.S. government. I'm going to really, punish Mexico. Let's, let's see, how high we can take this currency. So anyways, just giving you enough, just kind of giving you how, I feel it works out. Again, you can look it up yourself. There's a lot of truth to all this, but, I'm not the one here to judge. Remember, this is just a travel channel. We're talking about currencies. I just go off on these tangents a little bit sometimes. But there's all these things at play. And so basically, this is what has caused, all of a sudden the reverse, from a strong peso to the dollar to now having the peso get very weak. Well, not very weak, it can get way weaker. But, right now, look, all the value, that was gained, during the last presidency with all the things that was done and blah, 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 basically disappeared overnight. So just in case, people are wondering out there how powerful the U.S. government empire really is, okay? It's not just the military, okay? It's the ability to do things like this. Now, again, people can argue it's not the U.S. government per se. They're also run by another entity. Again, the banks. Again, I don't know. Maybe I'm saying too much for people out there wondering, why, my channel doesn't grow as fast as it should. Is maybe because I'm talking about certain things I shouldn't be talking about. But look, long story short, prediction. What do I think is going to happen? Look, I think, honestly, again, it's like a double-edged sword for me. Okay, because me as an American living in Mexico, okay, even if I'm a full-blown Mexican citizen, I'm still making most of my money in dollars. So it benefits me, for the peso to get weaker against the dollar. Because obviously I get more value for my dollars, okay? Same as you. Same as anyone with Canadian, whatever. But as a Mexican, for people in Mexico, okay, Mexico is a country. This is no bueno. Okay, this is basically an economic attack of okay, but again, not by a country. The U.S. is not doing this per se. There's other entities out there that's making, attacking, the economy. Okay, the strength of the peso. Now look, if the Mexican economy wasn't so strong, if the Mexican economy didn't have all the young people, didn't have all the industrial base, all the manufacturing, all the agriculture, all the exportation, all the everything, all the natural resources, oil, natural gas, what else? Gold, silver, lithium. I could go on and on. And there's so many things. A cheap, very cheap labor force, and so many things. If it didn't have all those things, okay, in my opinion, right now, you would be looking at 1 to 40, 1 to 50, okay? But again, that's how strong the currency is, how strong the country is, how strong the economy is, that, again, as much as they tried to really push it, they can only do what they're doing now, which is like they're inching upwards slowly but surely. And in my estimation, Mexico might have to drop their own rates going forward in order to fight this off. Because if Mexico's rates go up, they will not be able to maybe sustain this. But I don't know. And what do I mean by rates? Well, right now, something that, you can maybe understand when it comes to rates in this case, right? Rates. as they stand right now in the USA, when they basically don't affect you one way or the other when it comes to savings in a bank. So right now, let's say you put money in the bank in the savings account. What are they going to give you in the USA? Or any kind of like, account where you're growing your money. What are they giving you? 1%, 2%, something like that. If you're lucky, 0.5%. That's for like what, a year of keeping your money parked there. Okay, well in Mexico, right now, from my understanding, you can park your money in a bank and they'll give you like 11% back. So what does that mean? You put $1,000 in, okay, just leave it in there, for 6 months or a year, and you get back, 1,100 whatever dollars. Just free money. Okay? So, if all of a sudden now Mexico has to start cutting rates to follow, the USA and other countries, but basically, again, right now the USA, well then, that's going to suffer as well. So they're now Mexican banks, are not going to, be able to be as strong as they were before. Because again, Mexican banks out here, yeah, they got international banks, but Mexico has their own bank, okay? The U.S. does not have their own bank, okay? The Federal Reserve is a private entity. Again, you can look this up. It's on Wikipedia. They're a private entity, okay? And they print money and let the USA borrow it. But Mexico is not like that. Mexico, they print their money, but they also back it with gold and silver. Again, you can go to any bank in Mexico, okay, and you can buy yourself a Mexican silver coin or gold, okay? Go to Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citibank, go to one of those banks in the USA or Canada and ask to buy gold or silver. They're going to look at you like, what? Huh? What are you talking about? So, right now, as the inflation, okay, continues to balloon out of control, especially in the USA, and the USA values everything, including the peso, well, that's another reason, all right, as to why you're seeing the increase, okay, as well. So, because the reality is that it's how many, what is it, like how many dollars do you need to buy XYZ? You know what I mean? That's inflation, basically 101. So how many pesos do you need to buy XYZ? You follow? So, but anyways, in Mexico, there are a lot of things that are basically, fighting this, So as Mexico's economy grows, more Mexicans are making more money, okay? And so obviously as this gets worse, well, that more money they're making is not enough again. So now they got to make more money. Okay? So when a lot of people come out here and be like, oh, things in Mexico are expensive, or I'm getting a gringo price, or I'm getting, no. You got to understand there's like a bigger picture here. Okay? In fact, okay, again, as I'm, going out and look, I'm doing real estate videos in case you haven't noticed, I'm doing real estate videos. I'm more into that world. I'm checking out more prices. I'm checking out prices in the USA more on a regular basis these days. And look, long story short, Mexico is getting expensive. Okay. It is getting expensive in the sense of many basic things, are now on par, okay, with what they cost in the USA. Not everything. I mean, come on. There's still many affordable things here. But, again, now, before it used to be where you were saving around 65% on something. I'm buying, this pen, I'm saving 65% on the pen in Mexico. Okay, and there's many items still like that. But now it's more like I'm saving maybe 10%. 15%, meaning it's 10, 15% cheaper here, not 65% cheaper. So that's another thing too. So yeah, right now it's great, that, the exchange rate is now in our favor, and now we get more more pesos per dollar, but now the price of things are exponentially higher. Whether it's rent, whether you're, whatever it is, food, basic things, clothes, whatever it is. Now, again, there are many places that you can go, where things are still affordable. There are many different parts of Mexico. When I'm in the villages, things aren't prices that they were 5 years ago. When I'm here in Merida, they're more expensive, because I'm in the city. So there's a lot of things like that. Okay. There's a lot of variables when it comes to, pricing. All right. But at the end of the day, a lot of things are starting to get priced. So why move to Mexico? Well, you're moving to Mexico for a quality of life. You're moving to Mexico, for other reasons, not just to save a few bucks. So, look, in a bittersweet but weird way, I'm actually glad that Mexico is getting more expensive. In fact, in my opinion, it's really not getting that much more expensive. I still live on around $1,000 to $1,500 a month. All right, but I digress. $1,500 a month is what I live on, but I digress. The point I'm making is that you can't live on $1,500 in the USA. Now, a lot of people won't want to come out here and live on $1,500. They don't want to live my lifestyle. They want to live a little bit more, posh or whatever it is. And I understand that. And so that's the thing. Now, Mexico is not a place, that is only seen as a more affordable option. The reality is that, sure, if you're a retiree, it's more affordable to move to Mexico than it is to move to Florida. You're going to have a better, your dollar's going to stretch a lot further, even if you're, saving only 15%, it's going to stretch further here because it'll stretch, 15% more, 25% more in some cases, as opposed to where, Florida, it's going to be maybe 15, 25% more expensive. So, things like that. But the reality is for that quality of life. We talk about that multiple times here on the channel. That's not what we're talking about here today. But again, so for me, at this point, it's like, yeah, I'll pay. I don't mind. I'm not here for the savings. Maybe when I came out here 6 years ago or 6.5 years ago, that was my main concern. But not anymore. Now my main concern is quality of life. All right. And I sincerely doubt that Mexico will get more expensive than the USA. But again, if it does, I'll be more than happy to pay for it because, again, I know I'm getting more bang for my buck out here than I would over there. But again, knock on wood, it doesn't. I don't think it will. Again, in order for Mexico to get just as expensive as the USA, what you're looking on screen right there has to be 1-to-1. Meaning, not 1-to-20. No, 1-to-1. 1-to-2. 1-to-5. All right? But we're 1-to-20, and we're talking about right now 1-to-21, 22, 23. The higher that goes, the more bang you get for your buck. Meaning the more you can buy, the more you get. Okay? Because let me put it to you like this, okay? Right now at 1-to-20. Okay, that means that 20 pesos is $1. So I can get a bag of fruit. Just an example. I can get a bag of mangoes for 30 pesos. So right now, a bag of mangoes, 1 pound of mangoes, $1.50. All right. Now, if it goes to 1-to-30, now all of a sudden that bag of mangoes is not $1.50 anymore. No, now it's $1. Okay. So now imagine buying a house. Okay? Now, again, you're look how much of a big discount you're getting, okay? So, look, right now, in my estimation, again, if you asked me 6 months ago, which, again, we talked about this 6 months ago, and I thought it was going to keep getting lower. I thought that, with, Claudia Sheinbaum getting elected, which was basically the same government, okay, that was in power, Morena, AMLO was the president before, Morena was the party, and then Claudia got elected, she's also Morena, and then on top of that, there was a big red wave. Morena is also red, but they're left-leaning government. Mexico is a very conservative country. Anyways, it's very different, okay? It's not what you think. It's not like the USA. But anyways, long story short, I thought that, that coupled with other things, well, it was going to keep dropping the peso. But seems like it's going the opposite direction. And now that Trump got, this is why now, okay? Because I was kind of waiting. I really didn't know until after the U.S. elections, okay? The U.S. elections were going to say a lot, in my opinion. And we've seen it. So as soon as Trump got elected, like him or not, okay, that's not what we're talking about here. As soon as Trump got elected, things changed immediately. And you see it everywhere, whether it's a stock market, whether it's gold and silver, whether it's a Bitcoin, you know, all kinds of things, everything, anything going up in price exponentially, like insane. Again, even the Fed, how insane that they came out and had an emergency rate cut. It was not needed at the time, by the way, all right? But all of a sudden, what we're seeing is that now we're seeing an extreme amount of confidence, okay, in the economy, whether it's the U.S. economy, world economy, and so many things. And so I think that, you know, coupled with, you know, Mexico and the USA getting, you know, very close, okay, due to many factors, you know, happening out there in Asia. You know, Trump might want to, I don't know, go to war with China, you know, make peace with Russia, make peace with Israel, make peace with whatever, you know, everybody out there, and all hands on deck to go against China. I don't know. Who knows? We don't know. But if that's kind of the case, then they really need Mexico. They definitely need Mexico. And so the best, you know, the way that, you know, the USA is really going to be able to take advantage of that relationship, and vice versa, believe it or not, is, you know, to have the peso, you know, get weaker. Because again, now think about it, you know, now the Mexicans that are in the USA, okay, that were maybe thinking about moving back to Mexico, now they're like, maybe I'll just stay here and keep making whatever. If they're legal, they got no problem. You know, they're definitely, you know, probably going to stay because now things are getting better. If they're illegal, well, whatever. They're going to keep working and doing their thing until they get deported. And then they're going to cross back and do it again. Anyways, this is another story. But look, the point is that I don't know if that's going to even happen. You know, I think they're just going to, you know, the whole, you know, Trump's just going to go after the real bad hombres and not really go after, you know, a poor Mexican family or whatever. But who knows? We'll find out soon enough. The point I'm making is that now Mexicans have, you know, again, remember, there's a lot of Mexicans in the USA, 35 million and counting. You know, whether they're, you know, they went to the USA or whatever, you know, they're born there in the USA, generational, you know, in the USA. The point I'm making is that, you know, if they have family in Mexico, you know, they're, you know, right now, you know, those dollars that they're sending, they're worth more money. So, you know, now is not maybe the time to go back. When it was at 16-1, 15-1, when it was dropping, yeah, whatever. Why be here? But again, the weaker the peso gets, the more reason, you know, to make money in the USA and bring it back over here. And again, now going back to the labor, you know, the corporations, you know, all these factories and corporations setting up shop in Mexico. Well, again, it is to their benefit that the peso is weaker. Okay? So, you know, the thing is that now that Trump's president, the way I look at it, man, I think it's going to get weaker. I don't know. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I think it's going to get weaker. And this is something that Claudia Sheinbaum, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, no, she can't control this. You know what I mean? There's nothing she can really control. You know, there's certain things that she can do to mitigate it, which they're doing. The government, you know, obviously, you know, doesn't want a weaker currency. But I don't know. I don't know the intricacies of the Mexican government. I don't know what the Mexican government really wants. You know, maybe the Mexican government wants a weaker peso so that it can compete against China and other, you know, countries out there. And they know that the Mexican economy and the Mexican people, you know, they function in the informal economy anyways. And a lot of this might not even affect them no matter what. Because the thing is that, you know, people that work a regular job in Mexico, I mean, you know, again, you're making like $500 a month. But if you're working in the informal economy, you can make like $500 a week. or more. So that's why a lot of people, sell tacos on the street, or they have, their own business or their own thing on the side, because there's a lot more potential for them to make more money. All right. And so it really doesn't affect them per se. All right. Because, the Mexican government does a good job of mitigating certain things, again, with the basic bread basket, so there's like certain things, like eggs, flour, corn, there's many, basic staples of a Mexican kitchen, Mexican household, oil, whatever, beans. And those things, they try to maintain those at a certain price to make sure that everybody can eat and afford to eat. All right. So those are some of those socialist things that they have here. USA has other social programs. Right? Social Security, welfare, disability. I can go on and on. Medicare, Okay. So, anyways, the point I'm making is that every country has their own social programs. Here, they care more about, hey, we want to make sure our Mexicans can eat, but not junk food. No, like eggs, beans, whatever. We want to make sure that stays at a certain price. Housing stays at a certain price. Almost all Mexicans, very hard. Again, there are homeless Mexicans, but it's very hard to find homeless Mexicans because everybody has a right to housing. If the government can't help or provide, you can build your own. Government failed, no problem. Government understands they dropped the ball. Okay, they're not going to, now go after you for building a home. As long as it's not somebody else's property. So anyways, so it's a different world out here, different country out here. So with that being said, I think that's a lot of why, we don't know what I don't know personally. Maybe someone out there in the audience might know. But again, I don't know personally. I don't know the intricate. I have no idea. What Claudia Sheinbaum has in store for the country. Some people think she's going to be, communist and horrible, super leftist. I don't think so. I've been here long enough. Just the cartels alone will never allow that. I mean, just a system that's already in it can't happen. All right. Anyways, long story short, so that's not going to happen. But whether the government can have, will take more control over certain things, probably, maybe, whatever. We'll see. Whether she's going to rob and pillage the country, we don't know. Maybe she's not. Maybe she's really good. Maybe she, being so educated, right? She has, all these degrees, Nobel Peace Prize, yada, yada, yada. Maybe she understands the economy and all these things better. And she understands that they need a weaker currency. Okay, not a stronger currency. And so on and so forth. And so maybe she's like, okay, we can have a very weak currency, but as long as my people, my country prospers, who cares? Who cares? You know what I mean? Yes, a house, is a house, that was, worth 5 million pesos is now worth 10 million pesos. But hey, back when it was 5 million pesos, maybe they couldn't afford it in Mexico. But now when it's 10 million pesos, now Mexicans can afford it. So does it really matter? Not really. You know what I mean? What matters is that, the Mexicans can afford it now. They have a better quality of life themselves. So again, we don't know what's really going on. We can only speculate. But again, from my speculation, me and my financial advisor, Lambo the horse. Yeah, that's right. From our estimation, I think, honestly, just from especially what's transpired after the election. This is why I'm making this video now, believe it or not. I was sitting on this topic, just I wanted to wait to see what was going to happen. I think that we're going to go weaker, meaning that your dollar is going to stretch out further. So what does that mean? Look, right now, let's say that you're looking into moving to Mexico, all right? And you have a house in the USA, all right? Maybe overpriced, overvalued, and you can sell it and make money. And now you can come to Mexico, all right? And now, maybe, again, 6 months ago, you weren't able to afford the property that you wanted. And now 6 months later, hey, maybe, by January, who knows? You'll be able to afford the house that you've always wanted, that you couldn't afford 6 months ago, and have money left over. And so if this pattern continues, at least for the imminent future, next several months going forward, minimum, at least 6 months, you're going to be able to get a lot of bang for your buck. And we're going to see how high this goes, how much more value. Because you really start getting, you really start to see this when you're now starting to talk about thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of pesos. That's when you're really starting to see savings, because now all of a sudden it's like, you're saving like $100,000. Now that house is $100,000 cheaper or more. Or you're now you're going to be able to buy a house for under $100,000 or whatever it is. Okay. So, by the way, I know I've been making a lot of real estate videos and, again, they're pricey because look, the thing is I have a lot of people in my audience. Not everybody's a broke, person like me. All right. All right. You know what I mean? I got all kinds of people in my audience, but long story short, I'm going to be making, affordable housing videos soon. All that's coming soon. We're going to show you how I live on $1,000 for real. We're going to be going out to the villages. We're going to be showing you all kinds of things, all right? All coming up soon. In fact, coming out this Sunday. This Sunday we got a special video for you. Hopefully you enjoy it. Special adventure video. And really hope you enjoy that video. Please, watch that. Please stay tuned for that. So again, remember, every Sunday I drop a video in case, there's some new viewers out there. You want to check that out. But look, again, to me right now, everyone out there in the audience should be keeping an eye on this. Okay? Because again, this is benefiting me. This is benefiting you. This is benefiting a lot of people out there, even Mexicans. Okay? Not every Mexican. Okay? But you got to remember, there's a lot of Mexicans out there that do rely on business with the USA. And I'm not talking about, a Mexican that's, selling a house to a gringo or helping a gringo with XYZ. No. Remember, international business, again, like, Tesla, doing business, okay, with Mexico, okay? Or XYZ mining company, mining, coal or lithium or whatever. Or, there's many things, okay? Oracle, setting up shop out here, and doing tech stuff, NVIDIA, the biggest computer chip manufacturer, the American company, setting up shop in Guadalajara, for example, building the biggest, chip factory in the world in Mexico. Not in Taiwan, not in Asia, in Mexico. Every year they have all these competitions, like robotics competitions, nerd tech competitions. Listen, who's winning a lot of these days? Mexico. I was surprised. Seeing the Mexican team, beat Korea and Japan or China. USA is like in 13th place. Whatever. The point is that, listen, Mexico's not what you think it is, all right? Even the donkeys out here are robotic these days, all right? I know in the USA we got the robotic dogs. Out here they got the robotic donkeys, all right? So, anyways, that would be pretty hilarious. In fact, it's funny. They already, how like Elon Musk, has like the new robots and all that stuff. So you see all the, all the Mexican memes, all the Mexican funny stuff, whatever, and they have like the robots, working at the little corner store, where, usually it's like a middle-aged mom, grandma type lady that works at the corner store. But now you're going to see like a robot dressed like an old lady, it's like, helping you out with whatever it is you need and things like that. So, I mean, we're living in a different world out here, a different country. And, but in my opinion, I think that, at least for the foreseeable future, we're going to be able to take advantage of this. I mean, honestly, in a good way, again, let's just go back to like just the last year. Okay. So this is, again, this is from going back to November of last year. All right. And look at the steady, movement downwards, very, very methodical, but going downwards. And then again, as soon as the elections, blop, 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 all the way to the top. And again, okay, let's go to max, okay, right here. And let's go ahead and see how long, okay, this is, obviously it goes way further back, but basically anytime you see a giant jump in the currency and then it just stabilizes, giant jump, stabilizes, jump, listen, that's an election. That's an election, okay? You can go back and look it up. I did, all right? I'm not going to bore you with all that. But anyways, all I'm saying is that, so with that said, look at that chart, okay? And you see it goes up, kind of stabilizes, and then it just steadily goes back down. Next election, goes up, then stabilize, like that. And so I think that's what we're going to see. So I think it's going to keep going up for now, all right? And we're going to see where we go. And then from that point on, it'll stabilize and then it'll start to drop. But by the time we get to maybe, 16 again, it might be a few years. It might be many years. Okay, we don't know. All right? Or it could be by the end of next year. It could be a year from today. So again, we don't know. A lot of things are in play right now. We got to wait for Trump to finally get inaugurated. We got to see what the policies are there. We got to see what Claudia's, Mexican policies are. And we got to see, what the relationship is going to be with the central banks going forward, what the relationship is going to be with other countries going forward, with the World War III, what is going to happen or not. All these things are going to affect the price, okay? Negatively or positively, okay? So right now, I honestly don't see anything that is going to reverse this, okay? I really don't. I don't see anything that's going to reverse it for the foreseeable future. Now, again, I think Trump gets elected inaugurated January 20th, something like that. So this thing might stabilize and reverse by February, by March, by April. Or it might keep going up. Or it might, make a complete 360. But, to me, this is something to keep an eye on. And to something that, right now, it will be benefiting you for at least the next 6 months. And, why not take advantage of it? You know what I mean? However it is. Because, again, whether it's you're getting a residency, whether it's you're buying a property, you're buying a car, whatever it is you're doing. Whatever, there's many things, everyone out there in the audience is in a different, what is it? Like in a different, in a different position on your path to get to Mexico. Some of you guys are already here. Some of you guys aren't. So, for example, you might have a lot of dollars. Maybe, as this gets higher, trade them in for more pesos and hold pesos instead of dollars. Okay? And as it goes the other way, well, maybe trade them for dollars. Hold dollars. I don't know. Buy gold and silver. That's what I'm always telling you. So right now, man, am I sitting pretty? You know what I mean? With gold and silver. Just like if you had Bitcoin, just like if you had, any other currency. Okay? Because think about it. Even if you were holding pesos, you know what I mean? Even if you're holding pesos, okay? As this is going up back to whatever, you bought them for cheaper, okay? So you're not really losing value. You're losing value, but not as quickly as if you were to have to purchase them now, okay? If you're going backwards, okay? Not whatever. If you're buying dollars or whatever. Anyways, I digress. All right, let me read some comments real quick. Sorry. Got a little distracted there. By the way, real quick, if you would like these rants, if you enjoy hanging out with me today, I know today was a very serious topic, and we're talking about money and currency, and even though a lot of people love that topic, it's not for everybody. But anyways, if you enjoy, just hanging out with me, talking with me, hearing me, listening to me, interacting with me, and you want more, but you don't, necessarily want it to be talking about Mexico, please join me on my other channel. Come and join me over here, Jose Unleashed. I go live every single Thursday right after I go live here. So every single Thursday I go live on this channel talking about Mexico related stuff, and then I take a little break and then I go live over there on my other channel, and we do story time or we talk about current events. So, whether we're covering, I don't know, what ruined society, boomers or doomers, I talk in this one. I talk to artificial intelligence on the air. We talk about Trump's ear. We talk about the Matrix, living in the Matrix. We talk about the elections. We talk about Karens. We talk about, story time. when I worked in the kitchens, when I lived in Seattle, all kinds of things, all kinds of topics. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about how I was finally able to quit smoking cigarettes. It's not what you think, but hey, I used to be a heavy smoker, okay? Very heavy smoker. Again, I used to be a cook, a chef, right? So heavy drug user too, But anyways, I say no to drugs, they don't listen. That's another story. But I digress. I used to be a very heavy smoker, and I quit. I was able to quit after a lot of struggle, and I know a lot of you guys might be in a similar situation. So maybe you might be interested. Even if you're not interested, even if you don't smoke or you're not addicted to anything, hey, whatever. Story time, usually very funny, and entertaining at the very least. And you can come join me over there and talk about how I quit smoking. I'll tell you my story, a little story time. But anyways. So what were we talking about? Let's get back to where we were. Let me see. How's the? Look at that. Look at that. We've gained value. Okay. We've gained value. In the time that we've been doing the live stream, we've gained value. G Bland says, "What is the safest cities in Mexico?" Merida, where I live, Merida, Yucatan, is the safest city in Mexico. Is the cartel taking over cities? No, they're not. There are, cartel action in certain areas, certain places, not everywhere. Thinking about moving abroad at some point, retired with pension and some retirement funds. Awesome. Listen, you can watch my channel and you'll, see, in fact, you'll get a lot of your questions answered. I know a lot of people have a lot of questions. Believe it or not, George isn't home. So leave a message at the beep, beep. Anyways, listen. Check out my channel, okay? You'll be very surprised as to, how quickly you can find your answers. In fact, let me show you exactly how you can use my channel. Look, that's my channel, all right? Right there, right over there, you see there's right next to the store, I have a little search. You see it? Search. All right. Let's type a subject, okay? Residency, okay? Boom, you get all the videos on residency, okay? Safety. You should put safe. Look at that. Safety. Okay? So, whatever it is, even weather. Look at that. Okay? So, long story short, check out my YouTube page. Okay? Use the search button there, whatever, to make your search easier for whatever it is you're looking for. Also, please check out my website. Again, right there, joseartiaga.com. All the links are down below. All the links are everywhere. You go to my website, and you will be immediately, you will immediately have access to all the free information you could want. Whether you need a digital nomad job all the way at the top, whether you want to help support the show, whether you want to shop, buy a t-shirt or a mug, whether you want to listen to the podcast, whether you want to know how to get a personalized consultation, but more importantly than anything else, moving to Mexico, free information, free general information. Okay. So again, general information on how to rent, here's all the links, like apartments.com. Okay. But in Mexico. Okay. All the links, video to show you how, talk to you a little bit more about renting, 20 of the most asked questions ever, banking solution for those that don't have a bank in Mexico, apostle for those that need, paperwork, a translating application if you want to learn how to code so you can be a digital nomad, residency, learn Spanish. I could go on and on. More free resources. Again, if you're moving to Merida in specific, all right, you need an assistant. All right, you need a dog groomer. All right, that's who grooms, Gizmo. Again, my lawyer. Again, glasses, dentist, whatever you need. Okay, even my barber. Even my, I gotta go see him actually. A little hairy up here. Okay. All right. So please go check out all those links. All right. And let me see. Any questions? Any more comments before we head out? David says, "Hola, Jose Christian. I caught a live feed and figured I would say hola. Hey, how's it going? Hola." Okay, he's running your laundry over to the laundromat. Okay, all right. Now, But yeah, Mexico's a lot safer than a lot of people know. So please, just go and just do a little research. And there's other YouTubers who live in other parts of Mexico, and you'll be very surprised as to how safe. In fact, once you're actually out here, you're gonna be like, man, this is actually safer than wherever you're from. Now, again, depending on where you're from, okay? But if you're coming from a major city in the USA, listen. Most Mexico is way safer. All right? So let me see. But yeah, robotic donkeys, man, they're coming. Those robotic donkeys are coming, man. What do you think? What do you think Tesla's building a factory here? It's not for the fuck. It's not to make Cybertrucks, okay? It's to make robotic donkeys. You imagine? That would be hilarious, So.
Bruh.
But I think that's it, guys. Let me see. All right, I think we're going to wrap this up, guys. All right, so again, guys, please, go join me over there. We're going to do story time in a little bit. Hopefully, again, even if you don't join me over there, you don't care about anything over there, but I gave you value over here, and I was able to help you out over here, and you don't have, $5 to send me or $1 to send me, that's fine. Hit the like, maybe even go over there, subscribe, help me out. Help me help you, go help me out over there. Go help out a brother. Just go subscribe, go like, subscribe to this one. In fact, why haven't you subscribed to this channel? If you're still here, you're still watching. Come on now. So subscribe, like, and please, go over there and do me a favor. Go check out some of those videos. Go hang out with me today. You might be pleasantly surprised, all right? You might enjoy yourself. With all that being said, guys, you already know the deal, all right? I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest to your day. And with all that being said, you already know the deal, guys, all right? Don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit the bell icon, but more importantly than anything else, please stay awesome. I'll see you guys here on Sunday with a super duper special video that I hope you guys like. I'm working on a video for Tuesday. I'll see you here next Thursday. We got Thanksgiving coming up and so on and so forth. I'm going to be taking a break on Thanksgiving, FYI. All right. I got football to watch and turkey to eat. So no. All right. So just programming note for the future. But again, still always expect videos on Sunday throughout the end of the year, through next year, and forever. Well, as long as I'm making videos, right? Knock on wood here. But every Sunday, videos. Every Thursday, live streams. Every Tuesday, surprise video. Stay tuned. Subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a thing. Frequently check the channel because you might miss a video. A lot of times, for whatever reason, YouTube doesn't, let you know that I have videos. But again, I always have new videos all the time. So come and check out my YouTube page directly so you can see what you missed. Again, you can click up here where it says videos, and these are my recent videos in order, okay? You can go to live, all right? You can see the live streams I did, okay? In order, all right? So please, come and check this out. And that's it. I got to get out of here. I love you guys. Peace out. I'll see you guys here on Sunday. I'll see you guys here next Thursday, next week, all right? Love you guys. Peace out. Have a good one. Bye.